Hey YouTube, it's David Peterson here. We're going to have a look today at the stock market. Not just to be absolutely clear, I am not in any way invested in the stock market and I'm not an investor. I am a photographer and pretty much live life day by day. However, recently in the news I've seen some interesting stories about the stock market and I thought let's just give a layman's perspective on could the global financial crisis happen again. So first up we'll have a look at the Australian Standard & Poor's ASX 200 market. I've highlighted the pre-global financial crisis here, 2007, and you can see the Australian stock market peaked then and it's just gradually crept back up and it's now sitting around the 6,000 mark. This is what really got my attention, the American Dow Jones Industrial Average. You can see here, 2007, the pre-global financial crisis, there was a peak in the stock price. But if you have a look afterwards, it's plummeted. And then over the last few years, and especially in the last 12 months, it has absolutely skyrocketed. And you have to ask yourself, and me as a non-investor, just to be absolutely clear, I'm open to ideas on this, but is this sustainable growth, or are we facing a future crisis in stocks and shares? Because if you have a look at the numbers, there's been a decent blip here in the global financial crisis 2007, and it has subsequently absolutely skyrocketed. Now, my question is, is that truly reflecting growth? Has there been a huge rise in new companies that have started, new endeavours that have spurred this growth, or is that based on a house of cards? Is it built on sand? And I'm really looking for suggestions on this, guys, because to me, that doesn't look like healthy and sustainable growth. However, as I said, I'm a layman that's just interested in the news, and to me it looks like this is not something that is healthy and sustainable. Moving on to the UK FTSE 100 stock market, you can see here the peak after the year 2000. This was under the Labour government. Pre-GFC peak, a huge drop, and then it's gradually increased, and now you're sitting just below the 8,000 mark with ups and downs. Now this, although it is significant growth, looks a little bit more sustainable to me. It's not such a huge jump that you can see in the Dow Jones Industrial Average, and therefore I wonder if the investment there has been a little bit more prudent. However, you can see that it's still higher than the pre-global financial crisis, and I would wonder if, again, that is sustainable in the long term, and if the country's industrial output, if the businesses have made gains to secure themselves to lead for sustainable growth, sustainable profits. We have a quick look at the Japan Nikkei 225 stock market. You can see here again, pre-global financial crisis 2007, it's dropped, and then it's crept up, and now you're sitting at about 50% higher than you were in 2007. So we've got a large gain there, and you can see here in 1989 there was a precedent set in Japan where an absolute huge market correction, and for me these numbers look unsustainable, and I just wonder if something is happening, or has Japan become more competitive, more products come online, more new businesses, and this growth is backed by genuine sustainable business. Then we look at Germany. You can see Germany, the DAX 30. Germany had a peak early 2000s, and again pre-global financial crisis. You can see the drop, and then it's just Germany again has gone from 8,000 and it's now sitting around the 12,000 mark. with a significant rise over the last year and a bit. Germany is a huge industrial output. It's had a massive influx of migration. Are the businesses there able to sustain this growth? And if so, is it a wise investment, or is this just another sign of a rise before a fall? We all know Spain has been dramatically affected after the 2007 stock market, and the Spanish folks have had quite a difficult time. You can see its peak here, pre-GFC. Now Spain, following the market correction, is sitting significantly lower than at its peak, and they've obviously gone through some quite significant austerity measures, and certainly compared to the other charts, you can see that it's not recovered yet from the global financial crisis, and here sitting quite significantly lower. Does that show opportunity, or does that show that huge overvaluation 2007 and this is just a continuing market correction? Again, I don't know, guys. I'm just throwing it out there because I found it really interesting at the huge rise and some big falls in the stock markets. Let's have a look at the China Shanghai Composite Stock Market. The state is 1990 to 2018. You can see again, you've got a peak hitting nearly 6,000 in 2007, pre-global financial crisis, and now you're sitting somewhere in the high 2000s. So again, market correction and just a slow recovery. You've had a little peak there mid 2015, and then a slow recovery followed by a recent drop in that stock market price. I mean, that could be to do with the current trade war with the US. By that I mean the stuff that's on the news about the tariffs that have been applied. And then finally, just have a quick look at France, another big economy. France CAC 40 stock market. You can see pre-GFC sitting just above the 6,000 mark, with a large correction after the global financial crisis, and then just a gradual increase, and you're coming back up to those numbers from 2000, kind of the high 5,000s. So there you have it, guys. That's an absolute layman's look. I'm really, really open to suggestions and some ideas as to why this could be happening. And also, the most important one for me that would be of great interest is this meteoric rise in the US stock market a sustainable growth, or is it a rise before a fall? Thanks for listening, guys. Look forward to the feedback. Layman's view at the stock market. Dave Peterson signing off.